Hey guys, Marshall here, and I just had something spark me. This guy was talking about how he went through this awakening process, and it was really interesting to hear this guy talk about his situation. And honestly, everybody kind of buys into this on TikTok. That's where I saw it. They buy into this idea where they're like have this kind of a heightened understanding of what's going on to the point where they feel distant from other people. And in a way, that's true, but I think it kind of feeds the algorithm and everybody feeling like, oh, yeah, I'm smart and I understand more than the average person, and it makes me feel weird and I can't speak as much or I can't, do whatever. And, a little bit of victimization, but this whole conversation he had, how he's feeling like he was like in this state of apathy because he has this understanding and 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 you could see it in his face that he was like not in a healthy state of mind really. And what I don't think these guys, he talked about people reflecting how he I don't know, he said that everybody was like fake, and I don't know if he did say mention reflecting, but I'm going to mention it right now. And I feel like he had a lot of people in his life reflecting how he was kind of the state that he's in. And so what I see is like, I see this person in front of me. He has this energy, seems exhausted, and he's talking about how he has to like not be around certain people anymore, which I get, that can happen. Some people are just very toxic and unhealthy to be around. But I've certainly been around other people that have changed in the matter of months, and all of a sudden we have great conversations. So, and it may be how I feel that is bringing out the best in them, and that's the thing I wish I could tell the guy is like, hey, if you don't kind of become this vessel of a good energy, then all of a sudden you could be sparking up how somebody like a lower energy and someone that will spark up memories and feelings, and all of a sudden you're going to have to hear them convey these sort of thoughts to you because they're just reflecting your energetic state in a way. So I thought about this very deeply too, and so the best case scenario is you make it seem fun. You make this sort of idea that you've kind of awakened as a funny thing. It's silly, it's enjoyable, rather than being apathy and being a victim, because you have accessed this sort of higher self, or whatever you want to call this, awakened self. So so that so that you can feel your best. But also I feel like maybe this person is stuck in this, although they may have shifted the pattern in some way, of the point where they're a bit transactional. I don't know how transactional, but a bit transactional in the way that they're talking about speaking to other people. But now he's in this awakened idea that everyone around him is also transactional, and he's not getting his transaction. So it's so wild. But that's really what I saw this person kind of going through. And honestly, I might have to add the video clip to this or something. I might have to splice it together because, you know, it's an interesting understanding this person has, but I could see in his eyes that he wasn't really, doing so well. And I don't even know if my eyes look that great, but I'm going to show them off to you guys. Because another adjusting to the sunlight, but his were very low, and it seemed like, mine probably looked pretty low too, and even dark spots and stuff like that, because I've been inside most of the day, and I was playing video games all night. But there's a whole different, I like this the whole time this guy's talking, I didn't see any facial expressions that showed any signs of positivity. like it's not possible for him to access this. And I don't, to me, it seems like he's just not present enough and doesn't understand that it's really up to him how to shape his world. It's like, okay, you can access this understanding that how people are operating psychologically, but this should be a liberating experience. This should be fun. This should be exciting. This should be, what's the next step? How do I bring how do I bring my higher self up, even though like it seems like you're awakened, because the one thing that I've understood is that we're always going through cycles every single day. And the more that you access and understand the cycle that you're going through in a day, you'll realize why you're acting a certain way or why you're not feeling your best. So, I mean, my tip for someone that's going through something like that is like, you need to find a practice to find a way to access the moment more. Whatever it may be, I think self-expression is a great practice to sort of access this. But for me, I do freestyle raps, and I do a 20-minute freestyle rap, and I've been doing this every single day for about at least 3 or 4 months or more. I just was like, screw it, I'm gonna have fun. At least 20 minutes a day. Everybody has 20 minutes a day to do something. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that you don't have 20 minutes a day. If you don't have 20 minutes in a day to do something that taps you into like just free flowing, and if you can't do it, you're kind of putting up a wall because it's beyond your comfort zone, and you're just having trouble accessing it. And maybe you're thinking transactionally, like, what am I going to get out of this? And you're going to completely get in the way of yourself of really accessing the present. So you got to figure something out, whether it's music, if it's singing. I also sing too, so I've been kind of really tapped into this too, where I've been navigating the vocal, this new vocal influence of mine that is very fun, very present also. So you got to figure out whatever it is to get you back into the here and the now, so that whenever you do have the interaction with people, you're in a good mood. You're tapped in to that sort of energy of creation. See, everybody has this energy of creation deep inside, and you can just talk about it. I could be kind of just talking about it too, but or some people kind of just talk about Bible verses, and this guy did too. He talked about some verses and how, and he's really just navigating this in a way that's very analytical. So he comes up with a verse and talks about it. Now, I'd like to kind of, I wish I had a uplifting verse to tell you guys today to think about. And I think that my whole energy would sort of mirror this verse. So I don't believe that when he talked about a verse, he really probably was acting out of it, really, or embracing it. He was seeing it as a way to sort of punctuate his analyzation. And I would probably, I probably would end up doing the exact same thing. It's like a nonstop pattern where but the only way for it to really be good is if your energy is good. So if I was to just do this whole video in a way to be super analytical of this person, but it wasn't enjoyable in a way that was more than just informative. If there's not something that gets a rise out of somebody, then what's the heck of it? Instead of it getting a rise in a good way, everybody's like, oh yeah, me too. I'm so smart that I have trouble talking to people. I can't, I'm losing. I turned my back on this friend and I'm never talking to them anymore. Hey, if your friend didn't kill your own dog, or if your friend didn't hire people to lace you with PCP, then you should probably give that person another opportunity, because there's much darker things than having conversations with people that just don't go the right way. And you might have to take the responsibility to understand that it might be you. It might be you that that you're reflecting to people a bad, experience. Um, and I think for me, I've done that to people around me where I've kind of accessed this same thing that they were kind of like reflecting to me, this sort of uh, throwing shots at each other. That's something easily that people can get caught up into is throwing shots at each other for no good real reason. So this person, his video, his ability to be cognizant and aware of himself only goes so far, and it's a constant work. It's not something. This is a lifetime of work. You have your whole lifetime to work on your understanding. You don't just one day become awakened and have some sort of awareness that's beyond other people. Nobody can relate to it. What everybody related to was this idea, this ego, that you are, you're unrelatable because of how smart you are or something. It's so absurd. Everybody actually related to that in the end, really. This person's like, I can't talk to people anymore because, I see through the mask. And all of a sudden, everybody in the video is loving it because it feeds their ego. And so it's just a wild, oh baby, it's a wild world. Oh man. And I've noticed that. I've noticed how, social media just really it just facilitates this whole, it does facilitate this pattern. And I think it's troublesome, but I think when you go out in the real world and you talk to people, all of a sudden you'll really just come back to reality and realize how beautiful it is whenever you're outside of the algorithm. The one, to me, what I relate to the most is stand-up comedy. I see these people that go through these journeys to come up with these jokes, and it takes so much time to sort of create this joke. It may not be perfect, but you're infusing energy and you're doing these different things. It's creative. It's beautiful. It's an art that's been going on for 100 years, and it's still alive. And I love it. I just love that, how you can take something that can really stress people out. Let's say how people act. This idea of metacognition, understanding yourself, understanding other people, psychology. To me, this is just what I'm saying. Oh, how can I use this? How can I use this for comedy? Everybody has this kind of ego. I had this kind of joke today. It was like, I have a trouble separating from the ego. I had this deuce this morning. Then I went to flush the toilet and I heard the toilet struggle. I thought to myself, I am a dangerous man. This sort of idea of the ego, all these sort of things, this is something that can be useful. You can create something out of it. It's something that's not just something to feed the algorithm. But that's also a goofy thing to say too. The algorithm is just whatever. It's just everything. The algorithm is everything. I like for this to fit into the algorithm, but it'd be fun and informative vlog material. And so I feel bad for the guy. I wanted to post. I think I actually posted something. I rarely ever post a comment, and I was just said to the guy like, "Hey man, it sounds a bit transactional." I thought to myself, don't post this. The part of me that wants to be like, Mr. Nice Guy. I don't want to piss people off. I said to him, this sounds transactional, and if you don't find a way to give without needing anything in return, you're going to reflect this in other people. Pretty simple. Called him out a bit. And I think it was a bit necessary. I don't like to post comments too much. I probably won't. No one will probably ever see it, but I don't know. Maybe the guy will see it, so he can sort of come up with an understanding of what's going on. But oh man, there's a point where this sort of awakening needs to be kind of a service rather than just information. You know, you have to take someone's hand and show them. I wish I could take this guy's hand and show him the way, man. I wish I could show him. It's difficult, and it takes a lot of time to sort of get out of this phase. And I have the time to help people, and I have a client recently that I've been helping out with. I don't want to get into too much information about it because I like things to be private. But I'll just say, in a way, one thing we talked about was self-actualization and this sort of service to do something that was just something that came from his soul. And I can't say what it is. I don't want to give away any information, but from his soul he had this thing that he did generally already. And so I was like, this is great because you're already doing it. Now let's consciously create this plan to do this more, because whenever something comes from you, you want to sort of, like this guy wants to inform people. You got a bit of a calling, man. You got a bit of an understanding. Now, show people the right way. Show the people how to create this beautiful reality, liberation, by also understanding that other people can be transactional. Other people can be fake. Doesn't stop you from going and experiencing and learning from it. It's a lifelong pursuit of why you're here. You're given this opportunity by what I call the great architect of the universe. You can call him God, whatever, whoever created everything. They gave you this opportunity to see it for yourself as an individual, expressing, being true to yourself, understanding your pattern to the point where it comes up again. Like this pattern I'm in right now is I'm talking to you in this is a significant video. This is, I don't think I have too crazy of a significance complex, but I'm trying to stress to people my view here, that you have to reach some point of energy so that other people aren't just reflecting the energy and it's not bringing up confrontation. And there's so much going on even beyond that pattern that you think about somebody else. It could be reflecting your own pattern. You could be building off of a pattern that you replace one thing and then now you're addicted to another thing, or so the pattern continues, yet you're replacing it with different things. So like the person I see here, I think he was unconsciously transactional, and then he became consciously transactional in the way that he was navigating relationship in his life, in his own family. And so it's really up to him. It's up to me to be able to understand this reality so that I'm free, so that I can be a human being. That's another funny joke I'm trying to work on, is like this whole didn't mean to get all Dr. Seuss on you, but this whole idea that, to me, so we're great apes scientifically, and I'm not going to say I know for sure what happened to what human beings came about. Honestly, it could have been some alien intervention. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. Kind of seems like something like that happened. You know, I hear things all the time about how, you know, it doesn't make sense how we evolved. It happened very rapidly. But this funny thing is, like, when you're an ape, you're kind of when you're a great ape, or just an all right ape, you're kind of transactional. You know, someone gives you a stick, you probably run off with a stick or something, or maybe you use that stick as your tool, and someone that maybe a human is being in the moment and doing something different. You know, it's just it's being so present that you can create something out of that even more. You know, it's like, instead of running off with a stick, instead the ape draws a picture of the person that gave him the stick. I just came up with that right now. That's a beautiful analogy. So it's like, are you just gonna take the stick and run and scratch your ass with it, or are you gonna create something? You know, are you gonna, what the heck, just, is that a fly or something? So yeah, it's tough, you know. I'm probably being tough on this person. Anybody that I ever work with, I'm not gonna be like, I'm not like, hey, you're being transactional. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna guide them in that way, but it's okay, because I'm not talking about any of you guys. This guy that I'm talking about, you don't even know I'm talking about him. I don't think I'm gonna post a video just splice in here or anything, but I kind of want to, but I don't want to use this guy's content. You know, I don't want to take his content that did really well. I don't even know how it did so well. I have some ideas, but I can't even get jokes to do well that give value. This guy's information, I've seen that information do well, though. I've seen that information where everyone's like, I've seen it do well. And maybe I'm a bit sour about that. But I know that even though I don't get a whole lot of responses, I'm gonna give my outlook. And if you come to me and I am your conscious coach, I'm gonna work with you. I'm probably gonna be straightforward with you at times too, and call you out a bit. I did that with my recent client. I called him out a bit. Not in a bad way. He actually liked it, I think. He liked that I'm not just people pleasing. I'm not just, you know, I'm not just I'm never going to be your therapist. I don't want you just going to keep coming back for repeat business. I want to give you these tools so that you can make and navigate this life in a way to create something. And if you have to come back to me, that's great. But I would be okay with never seeing you again. I'll say, have a nice life, you know? So there's so much opportunity for growth for me, for this guy. There's, you know, I don't ever want to put out a video where I'm like, I'm awakened now and now I can't relate to people. You know what this is like? You reach a stage, and I just dread this powerful mind that I have. It's so powerful that now no other human being can relate to me, except I got 200,000 views on TikTok. You know, it's the guy's doing his best. Maybe he'll be the best thing ever. Maybe he'll flip from being transactional to being the giver, the best, you know, the best man he can be, the higher self, the giving self, the man of service. Maybe he'll teach people rather than facilitate the ego. And that's a difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing. And I spoke to that earlier, that it's difficult to even, we all have egos, but some are, it's understanding how they could interfere with your relationships and friendships. If you have an ego and you think at the end of the day, wow, I was acting on my ego, then this is a healthy process you're working through. And I think about that myself too. Trying to limit these sort of things that I may say that are egotistical, and try to have concrete, backed understandings that make sense to people. This is one of the first videos I've done where I've really kind of expanded on a video that I didn't like. I think I might have done, hopefully I did this gracefully, because I didn't even want to comment about it. I didn't want to comment on his video, but I feel like I had to, and I feel like I had to make a video about it right now. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think. Let me know if I went too far. Let me know if this makes sense to you. Any questions, I'd love to answer them. If you want to inquire for help one-on-one, I offer half the price of an actual therapist, and I'll go the extra mile. I'll talk to you about things that you wouldn't want to talk to a therapist about. I'll help you date women. Maybe I'll help you date men. I don't know. It doesn't, whatever it is, I'm not going to put up walls and think that I can't help people. There's no criteria. I'd like to create a space, an environment where you feel safe to explain to me whatever you desire. Thank you so much for watching. The info should be in the description or my bio. Contact me if you need me. See ya.